All right, viewers, the deadline for the withdrawal of complete US forces in Afghanistan was today. The Taliban today celebrated the withdrawal and the deadline ending with gunfire inspecting the airport. Here's more.
Ominous gunfire ringing out at the Kabul airport. The Taliban celebrating the last of US troops leaving at the dead of night. Opening fire from automatic weapons after storming the airport. Moments earlier, the last US evacuation flight had taken off, ending the 20-year-old US military presence on Afghan soil. Major General Chris Donahue was the last US soldier to leave Kabul in a C-17 jet. US night vision camera photo from inside the Globemaster capturing the haunting yet iconic moment. Photos of the last batch of US men evacuating showed largely empty barracks at the airport. The US air machines and tanks were found abandoned. Many deliberately wrecked by departing US troops in order to stop the Taliban from using them. The pullout ending a hasty and humiliating retreat 1 minute before midnight Kabul time on Monday, a full day before the 31st August troop pullout deadline could end, leaving behind hundreds of US citizens and abandoning thousands of Afghan allies possibly eligible for airlift. With Americans gone, it's the end of the longest US war in history. It may also be curtains for freedom, for liberty, and for women's rights under Taliban rule. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, the first official India and Taliban talks have taken place in Doha in Qatar. Well, that can be confirmed right now. All of that in the backdrop of what we have seen unfold in Afghanistan. After the US exit, India's ambassador to Qatar, Deepak Mittal, met Sheikh Mohammed Abbas, the head of Taliban's political office in Doha. The meeting took place at the Embassy of India in Doha on the request of the Taliban. Discussions focused on safety, security and early return of Indian nationals stranded in the country of Afghanistan. The travel of Afghan nationals, especially minorities who wish to visit India, also came up. Ambassador Mittal raised India's concerns that Afghanistan's soil should not be used for anti-India activities or terrorism. The Taliban representative assured the ambassador that these issues would be positively addressed. On the other hand, the fallback of what we are witnessing in Afghanistan with the Taliban reverberating in India as well. Well, why do I say that? Let's get you the latest here. Now, the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind, a prominent Muslim body, has slammed co-education for girls. The Muslim body called for separate schools for girls and boys. Jamiat has asked even non-Muslims not to send their daughters to co-educational school or colleges. The top Muslim body urged the influential and wealthy people to help construct separate schools for girls. The UP government has hit out at the shocking sexist diktat. UP Deputy CM said that people with Talibani mindset should understand that this is India and not Afghanistan.
जो लोग शरीयत के डंडे को चला करके संविधान की मूल भावना पर हमला करने की कोशिश करते हैं, वो कभी सफल नहीं होंगे। और ये लोग उस तरह की मानसिकता के हैं, ऐसे लोग जो लड़कियों की स्वतंत्रता के ख़िलाफ़ हैं, लड़कियों के एजुकेशन के ख़िलाफ़ है, और ये तय थोड़ी करेंगे कि बच्चियाँ को एजुकेशन के इंस्टीट्यूशंस में जाएंगी या जो है कहीं और जाएंगी। ये तय नहीं कर सकते।
देखिए, चाहे अरशद मदनी हो और चाहे कोई भी तालिबानी मानसिकता के लोग हों, वह समझ लें भारत हिंदुस्तान है, ये कोई अफ़गानिस्तान नहीं है। यहाँ जो व्यवस्था चल रही है वो सफलतापूर्वक आगे बढ़ रही है। पूरा देश, चाहे वो बच्चे हों चाहे बच्चियाँ हों, सब एक साथ पढ़ते हुए देश को प्रगति के पथ पर आगे ले जा रहे हैं।
जमीयत उलमा-ए-हिंद का इस तरह का बयान आना, ये तालिबानी विचारधारा को कहीं ना कहीं प्रमोट करता है और ये साफ हो गया है कि हमारे देश के अंदर इस तरह की संस्थाएं तालिबानी विचारधारा पर काम कर रही हैं और इनसे भी हमको दूर रहना होगा। तालिबानी विचारधारा से उसको डिमोरलाइज करने का काम अगर कोई कर रहा है तो इस तरह की संस्थाएं कर रही हैं जिस तरह से उलमाए हिंद कर रही है।
जो स्कूल लेवल तक तो कोई एजुकेशन में कोई हरज नहीं है, लेकिन हाँ कॉलेज लेवल पर इस पर सबको सोचने की ज़रूरत है कि किस तरीके से एजुकेशन को इस तरीके से सिस्टमाइज़ किया जाए कि लड़के और लड़की दोनों तालीम भी हासिल कर लें और उसमें कोई मसाइल भी ना पैदा हों जो आए दिन पैदा होते हैं।
All right, in midst of a threat of a possible third wave coming in, many states have also opened schools. However, data that India Today has accessed suggests that cases with COVID have increased, especially hospitalization of those under 17.
Schools are opening again. Classrooms witnessing bustle. And here is some encouraging news. Only 2 states which unlocked classrooms have reasons to worry. Apart from Punjab and Bihar, other states have only a marginal rise in COVID in kids in the last 2 months.
The state of Punjab, where in July there were 6.5% samples that are tested positive below the age of 17 years. In the month of August, there is a rise of about 9.6%, where 16.1% samples have tested positive. This upward trend is also being seen in the state of Bihar, where Bihar recorded 6.2% samples of those below 17 years who were tested positive. And now in August, 11.5% samples of those below 17 years have tested positive, which is a rise of about 5.3%. State of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Nagaland, Chhattisgarh have also seen more than 2% rise in cases of those below 17 years testing positive. But there are some states like Jharkhand where schools have partially reopened that have seen a negative trend where there's a decline of about 0.8% in those who have tested positive less than the age of 17 years. So this data clearly shows that where states have reopened schools and children remain unvaccinated are looking at a rise in cases of children being infected with COVID-19.
Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Nagaland, Chhattisgarh saw only around 2% rise in the positive samples of children. Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Mizoram are showing marginal increase of between 1.5 to 1%, with Haryana only recording a spike of 0.6% infections in children from July to August. Even Kerala, contributing the most to the COVID numbers in India, registered a slight decline in the number of kids with COVID, while Maharashtra, Jammu and Kashmir, West Bengal, Delhi, Telangana, Manipur, which have not resumed schools, also saw fewer children testing positive.
प्रॉब्लम ये है हमारे साथ, हम सब चीज खोलना चाहते हैं, मॉल खोलना चाहते हैं, उसका रिस्क लेना चाहते हैं। थर्सडे फ्राइडे जो इवनिंग बाजार है जिसमें बहुत भीड़ होती है उसको खोलना चाहते हैं एंड उसको हम साइड करते हैं कि लोगों को कमर्शियल एंगल को साइड करते हैं। बट क्या अभी हमने सोचा है इन बच्चों का क्या नुकसान? अगर कोविड फैलता है मोस्टली स्कूल से नहीं फैलता, ये कम्युनिटी में फैलता है। जो स्कूल है वो उसका रिफ्लेक्शन है, ये हमें अंडरस्टैंड करना पड़ेगा।
Parents, while often allowing kids to venture out in public and even taking vacations with them, are still unsure about return to schools.
The real question is, the data could become a ready reckoner for states that are sitting on the fence to decide whether this seems to be the right time to reopen schools, even as children remain vulnerable and unvaccinated against COVID-19, and even school staff that needs to be vaccinated on priority to contain the spread of infection after schools reopen. With Sanjeev Kumar in New Delhi, this is Milan Sharma for India Today.
All right, viewers, let's get you this shocking incident that has come in from Bengaluru. An incident of an accident which has claimed 7 lives, which include 3 women that died after a speeding SUV Audi hit an electric pole in Bengaluru. Among the deceased is also DMK Hosur MLA Prakash Sagar's son, Karuna.
A speeding Audi tearing through a deserted Bengaluru street. ramming into an electric pole at breakneck speed. The entire car recoiling after the high impact. One of the wheels coming out due to the massive collision. CCTV camera capturing the horror at posh Koramangala locality at 1:45 a.m. in the night, when the luxury SUV with 7 occupants lost control. Such was the ferocity of the accident that 6 of the riders were killed on the spot. Another succumbed while being taken to hospital. Among the dead was Karuna Sagar, young son of Hosur DMK MLA Prakash Sagar. So were 3 of his women friends. The car reduced to a complete wreck and a pile of twisted metal.
The car was speeding at 145 and lost control and hit the building here. As you can see the pole also has been hit as well as the building. It's an Audi Q3. 7 passengers were inside it. None of them were wearing seat belts, and the airbags also didn't come on time, and hence 7 people have passed away in this accident. And now the police are looking at CCTV visuals as to exactly make sure that what happened moments before the accident occurred.
This accident, preliminary investigation shows that this accident happened because of the rash, negligent act of the driver.
Rescue workers had to extricate the bodies from the mangled car. The horrific images clearly indicate that the car with the Karnataka registration plate was running at a very high speed when it met with the mishap. The bonnet, entire front side and the cabin of the car suffered severe damages, leaving no chance for the occupants to survive. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
It's raining mayhem in the state of Assam. Many districts completely inundated. There is a situation of an SOS. The Prime Minister as well has spoken to the Assam Chief Minister, saying that all help will be given.
Floods ravage Assam once again. Brahmaputra is in spate, derailing lives and livelihoods.
मेरा घर में आज 3 दिन से पानी है और इस पानी में बच्चा कच्चा जीने के लिए बहुत दिक्कत होता है। खाना पीना सब गैस पानी कुछ नहीं, लकड़ी भी नहीं है, कैसे जाएंगे? ना कोई कमाई है ना कोई इनकम है, कुछ नहीं है ना, बर्बादी हो रहा है।
70% of forest camps in the Kaziranga National Camp, famous for the one-horned rhino, are now inundated. The Forest Department has begun patrolling the camps using boats to check on the animals. Frantic wild animals have come out of the park and entered nearby villages. The Kaziranga authorities say that 4 hog deer have been killed in the deluge.
মানে আমার ভেহিকলখিনিৰ গতিবিধি যাতে আমি নিৰ্ধাৰণ কৰিব পাৰোঁ, যাতে জীৱ জন্তুৰ একো ক্ষয়ক্ষতি নহয়, সেইকাৰণে আমি এইটো ব্যৱস্থা কৰিছোঁ। ভাইলেশ্যন কৰিলে যেতিয়া আমাৰ ফাইন হ'ব, এইটো আপোনাৰ 5,000।
Over 2.58 lakh people, including 47,400 children, are affected in the current wave of flood in the state. More than 1 lakh people are affected in Lakhimpur district alone, followed by 57,000 people in Majoli and 35,500 in Dhemaji. Over 24,000 hectares of farmlands are flooded across the state. The statue of Lord Vishnu on a vertical pillar floating in the Brahmaputra near the Chakreshwar temple now faces drowning, an indication of how the water has risen in the river. The state administration has opened 24 relief camps and 67 relief distribution centers. Over 6,000 people are currently in these relief camps. Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. You're watching a fact-check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there are images that are floating about suggesting or are made to suggest that the police was washing away bloodstains on the roads in Karnal after the lathi charge which had taken place on the farmers. Well, the fact-check on that, this has nothing to do with Karnal, nothing to do with the incident, but this image is from 2013 in Kashmir, and this incident is after a terror attack had taken place. With that fact check, time for us to go into a quick break. To stay with me on the other side is To The Point.